so many of you out this morning. We'll call this meeting to order. I didn't realize when I said that I would pray that the chairman was going to be gone, and so I'm conducting and I'm going to pray. I happen to be the president of the Relief Society organization at my church, which is the women's organization that we have responsibility for taking care of the emotional, spiritual, intellectual, physical needs of not just the sisters in our church, but their families as well. So I've had that great opportunity for about a year now. So I will have a prayer. Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful for the opportunity we have to be here today. We're thankful for the citizens of Rockdale County and for their interest and desire to speak about their needs and their concerns for the county. We're thankful for this beautiful weather and that it's cooling off. We're thankful for the opportunities that there are for us to serve and to assist those around us, our neighbors, our friends, our families. We pray for that guidance and inspiration and wisdom this morning, that as a board we will be able to make decisions that will be pleasing to thee and pleasing to the residents of this county. And we pray for these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this chair is not coming up here. All right, we have a special presentation this morning, Art for the Ages. It's an intergenerational initiative program that I was able to attend, and it was so fabulous. So, Director Redmond, if you'll share, and I assume you'll be calling Deputy Director Morgan to help you.
I will. I will be calling all my support. Good morning, Madam Commissioners.
Good morning.
So you are correct. Art for the Ages was a intergenerational showcase event that was held Thursday, July 18th, 2024 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it was held at Costa Mill Event Center. The purpose of this program, next slide please. The purpose of this program was to promote cultural arts, have recreation for all, regardless of age or disability, and for community involvement. Go to the next slide. There you see some of the components that we had at the multi-generational art show. So we had art, dance, and the fashion show. So just really quick, if you look at that picture, the top left-hand picture is a board mural that was completed with the help of the sketching pad. So to get this board completed, the sketching pad came out during designated days and times at the senior center, and everybody got to draw on one little panel. And at the end, everybody placed their panel together, and that was the overall picture that was formed from everyone's panel with help from the sketching pad. On the second row, the middle picture, you see, and the pictures are hard to see because they're a little small, but you see a bunch of bracelets that are made, and they were made, and the cards under them will tell you the ages that made the bracelet. So one card may have made by age 75 and age 12. So you have grandparents working on it with their grandkids to come up with that piece of jewelry. Next slide. Some of the pictures here pictured are the pictures from the dance and the fashion show. So if you can look there, you see just a multitude of different abilities and ages that participated in the dance and the fashion show. I do want to bring attention to the picture far right. That is a brother and sister, and they were in that competition or in the art show or the fashion show with their grandparents. Next slide. We did do a satisfaction survey towards the end of the event, And this was the poll. We asked the question: very satisfied, satisfied, someone dissatisfied, and dissatisfied. And gratefully, we had no one who were dissatisfied. Very satisfied was 86% of the participants. Next slide. The importance of future intergenerational events in Rockdale, 89% felt that it was very important. Next slide. And then the top attributes gained by the participants. The chance to interact with different people, with people of different ages, was very important. Something positive to do, again, was very important, and the chance to be involved in my community. So we did have a daytime program that's a therapeutic program that attended the event as well. We also had kids from summer camp that attended the event as well. So again, there were all ages in the room all at once enjoying this event together. Next slide. So the Art for the Ages was in line with the Reimagined Strategic Plan. It was also awarded Georgia Recreation Parks Association New Initiative Grant. That's how we were able to fund the event. It was selected as a session at the Georgia Recreation Parks Association State Conference, which is to be held in November. So that means that we will get an opportunity to present to the state of Georgia to help them understand how to implement this activity into their own community. Also, we nominated the event for Georgia Recreation Parks Association District 6 and the state awards, and the state award. The work that went into this event was, although it was a 4-hour event, it was days and hours and weeks of work that went into the event. The coordinator and the leader for this event was Deputy Director Susan Morgan. The flyers and design was done by Ms. Jordan Hodge. She is a team member at Costa Mill Park. The dance was coordinated by Ariana Adams, Lynette Rose Hollingsworth. Ariana is with Costa Mill, Lynette is with the Scene Service. The fashion show was done by Alandria Bangs, Suzanne Clark, and Roma Smith, who is a senior volunteer. The arts were coordinated by LaVonda Bruton, Joanne Peters, and Suzanne Clark. Again, the sketching pad, partnered with Parks and Recs with the art mural. And the arts and crafts were organized by Belinda Bonner and Melissa Pugh. And of course, the senior services completed the food, which is another important piece of the event. We should have surveyed the food to see how well they liked that, but we didn't put that on there. We can do that next time. But again, this is one of those feel-good events. It was nothing but positive feedback. And if, like you say, Commissioner Williams, you were there, so you were able to feel the energy in the room and just feel the sense of belonging that the event brought to the community. And it's something that we look forward to continuing down the line. Deputy Director Morgan has had several of her senior members ask her when's the next one. So we're going to make sure we try to get that on the schedule for next year and moving forward. And although we're highlighting this event, I do want to bring to the attention that most of the time when we talk about cultural arts, I think we talk about the concert series so much that everybody think that's all that's included in cultural arts. This is part of cultural arts. The back to school giveaway that we have is part of cultural arts. The Easter egg extravaganza that we have is part of cultural arts. The toy giveaway that we partner with Grady Jarrett to complete is part of cultural arts, and also the Autumn Festival that is coming in November. So don't want people to get, or the public to get like tunnel vision on us just having concerts. It's not all cultural arts included. So just wanted to bring that to the attention of the public and the community, and to let them know that Parks and Recreation, again, we're working hard to bring innovative programs to the community and be a face for the state of Georgia. Again, we get a chance to go at the conference, and we get a chance to explain this to the state of Georgia. So any questions you all may have?
Commissioner?
Congratulations on such a innovative and needed activity. The fact that you're bringing children and elderly, a lot of children don't know their grandparents or haven't had that opportunity to interact with somebody aged. So this is a great opportunity to bring those two generations together. What a great event, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
It was one of the best things I've been to. Just, the young lady in her wheelchair
Yes.
who got out there in the fashion show, and she was just spinning around
twirling.
and really, making it fun. And then the brother and the sister, he twirled her around, and they were just it was so cute. And like you said, there was a lot of energy that day.
It was.
And I've always been a big proponent of multi-generational activities. I think they just, they round us out. They teach children what life is really about, that life is not just them. There's a whole community different from them. But it also, it's so, as a grandparent, I know how much I love having my grandchildren around. It's that, connection, I think. It was really awesome. It was really fun. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you. Just right before I conclude, as you know, I'm a former educator. I taught school for about 6 or 7 years. One of my things that I've always focused on was multi-generational approach. I always say no matter how well a kid or behave or misbehave in the school, they have to go back home. And so us trying to make sure that we bridge that gap in Parks and Recreation is important from a health perspective. And it also gave my team an opportunity to work on one project together. I think this is our first time being able to work on one single project together. So I do want to recognize Deputy Director Wilson. She was a big part with this project. I want to recognize Operations Manager Elandria Bing and Deputy Director Susan Morgan. They all played an integral role in making sure this happened. Like, they stayed after work, like, many hours, many days.
I can imagine.
So it's something that we're very proud of.
So if those three will stand up so everybody knows who you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
10:16 a.m.
Okay, so we are at the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
I second that motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion. There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Unfinished business.
Okay, item 428 is a special use permit case 2023-01, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended, to authorize a special use permit for a 200-foot AGL monopole communication tower and related telecommunication facilities at 2400 Southwest Tucker Mill Road, Conyers 30012, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to defer this ordinance until the next regularly scheduled BOC voting session.
I second that motion. Any comments or questions? We are still gathering information on this one, looking at all the parameters and all the, I'm sorry, this is not public comment time. So, like I said, we're gathering information so we can make a really thorough, educated decision. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, next one, 429.
Item 429 are amendments to the Rockdale County Employee Classification and Pay Plan through Talent Management.
I move to approve these amendments as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 430 is an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 4 of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, providing for the abolishing of certain departments, for the consolidation of certain departments, and for the creation of certain departments, amending certain sections of certain chapters of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, and for other purposes. This is submitted for first reading. However, if it's unanimous, you may waive the second reading.
I move to approve the first reading, waive the second reading, and to adopt the ordinance as presented.
I second that motion. I have a motion and a second. All in
Just-
favor say.
Well,
Oh,
I
do
just
you have
wanted to
comments?
comment, just, it sounds like we're doing a whole lot in changing the government. What we're actually doing is cleaning up the Mooney Code, the municipal code, so everything is in line with what we're doing. It just looks like a lot, so I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. That's
welcome.
good clarification. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 441 is with Talent Management. This is for the Rockdale County Employee Policy, a severance policy.
I move to defer this policy until the next regularly scheduled voting session.
I second that motion. There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. There is no consent agenda. We'll move to the regular agenda.
Item 444 is with the U.S. Department of Agriculture through the University of Georgia for the Board of Commissioners Office. This is for the Community Garden Grant. The amount is $145,000 with no match. The term was May 15th, 2024 through May 31st, 2026.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. And that was your initiative.
So it's going well. We're in the process of creating the schematics for the grant. As you know, it will have it has the garden component with the food, but it also has a botanical and a pollinator garden along with a space so that we can do wellness activities such as yoga in the park and things like that. One of the things that I'm most excited about is that it also have the place where we can have herbs, and we'll have different sessions on showing you how you can have what different plants do for you medicinally. So it'll be like a medicinal garden. So I'm really excited about this initiative, and I can't wait to see it finished.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 445 is with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council through the District Attorney's Office for Youth Enrichment and Learning by Design, the Yield Grant application. The amount is $95,401, and there is no match.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 446 is with Building Maintenance Services through the General Services Department for janitorial and custodial services at various county locations. This is a unit price contract, change order number 2 to contract 2023-173. The current cost is $7,064.75 per month. There is a cost increase of $2,228.13 per month, and to add $250 monthly for Tatum Road facility. So it's a 12 months with option to renew 2 additional 12-month periods.
So this is going from $7,064 to $9,000, almost $10,000 with the other $250.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is it's an annual increase, so they're renewing their contract for the year. We do have 2 contractors. Based on the 2 prices they submitted when they originally put in, it still is cheaper than the other one. So it's just an increase, plus we've had other buildings and facilities that we've added.
And could you tell us all of the facilities that they're covering for the $10,000?
It's like every offhand. For this contract, offhand, this is it's BMS Building Maintenance Services, which has Portman, Old Covington, which is code enforcement, transportation, fleet, the water department, RWR, the tax commission, 2 tax buildings, which we just opened the 2 offices, admin building, courthouse, and the EMA building over in Fairview, East Fairview. So those are the facilities. Plus there's a couple of smaller ones at the water treatment plant. So there's it's pretty much 80% of the facilities.
Okay, thank you.
And just to add, anything that's for water treatment is paid separately out of the enterprise fund.
Okay, thank you.
Based on various accounts, and each department applies their own funding for that.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Do you have a motion?
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 447 is with RR&B Associates through the General Services Department for the Fire Station 5 renovation. The amount is $636,300, and it's 150 days from the notice to proceed. This is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 448 is the Snapping Shoals Electric Membership Corporation through the General Services Department for the Restorative Justice Complex parking lot and site lighting. The amount is $492.90 per month and is for 36 months.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
I do have a question. So it's site, the parking lot site lighting, where exactly is that?
We've got,
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Sue.
Right.
since she's
Put
the
you in a
guru.
row.
stay on up here,
I
right?
can stand up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for the new RJC complex, which is over off of 2800 Highway 138
Oh,
in
okay.
Conyers.
Yeah, okay.
So the site lighting, the existing site lighting is through Snapping Shoals. It's outdated. It's not bright, and it's when we open a new building, we figured we will upgrade to LEDs.
Okay.
So that's just a retrofit project that Snapping Shoals provides. So there's an increase in the price.
Okay, thank you.
Super exciting.
Oh,
It's
yes.
coming along.
It really is. So
Have
you
a
had a
motion-
motion and a second.
Yeah, motion and a second. Any other comments?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 449 is with AT&T through General Services Department. This is for the Judicial Administrative Complex for the removal of all the aerial facilities, copper and fiber on Court Street from the first pole on Main Street to Pine Street. The amount is $70,036.58, and this is for 1 year.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. Any motion and a second? Any comments or questions?
No.
So by aerial facilities, does that mean
It's utilities.
all the overhead wires are going underground? Is that it?
Relocation on that road.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's the AT&T part of it, but probably all utilities, gas, power, fiber will be relocated from that spot around.
Okay,
New
thank
route,
you.
they're gonna have a new route for the for the utilities.
Okay, all right. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, item 450 is with DISA Solutions through the Technology Services Department. This is for Cisco and Meraki Enterprise Agreement for the renewal of software, hardware, and licenses to support the enterprise. The amount is $426,569.90 per year. It's a $2,132,849.50 total for 5 years.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion. Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 451 is with Park Place Technologies through Technology Services. This is for the Unity 480 DPE maintenance renewal. The amount is $10,721.76. The term is November 1st, 2024 through October 31st, 2025.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 452 is with Marchman Consulting through the Superior Court Accountability Courts to provide a variety of services for multiple grants for program operations to evaluation services. The amount is $100 per hour. The term is 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 1-year terms.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion. Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 453 is with ABB through the Water Resources Department. This is for switchgear preventative maintenance. The amount is $37,473. This is the completion time is 2 days. Sorry, not 2 years. Big difference.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion. Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 454 is with ESG Engineering through the Water Resources Department. This is task order number 1 for lead and copper program management. The amount is $150,000 for 1 year.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 455 is with Cogsdale Corporation through the Water Resources Department for the IVR Net texting subscription. This is at no cost and is for 1-year trial period.
I move to defer this contract until the next regularly scheduled BOC voting session.
I second the motion. Have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 456 is with Corporate Environmental Risk Management CERM through the Stormwater Management Department. This is for environmental and engineering consulting services. Change order number 7 to contract 2020-18. This is the renewal of ongoing need for staffing support. The amount is $605,898. It is for 1 year with renewal option.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 457 is with the Georgia Department of Transportation through the RDOT Department. This is for the indication of roundabout support for SR 138 at Dial Mill Road. The cost to be determined. This is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 458 is a requisition through the General Services Department for physical link communications for low voltage data equipment for mental health ward at the Sheriff's Office. The amount is $62,352.15, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion. Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in,
This is another project that's coming along. I know that you and the sheriff specifically have worked very, very hard on this mental health component to the sheriff's office. So I'm excited that it's coming along, especially when you talk about restorative justice. So I'm sure that he's very happy that this is coming along.
and I like that they're actually calling it the stabilization unit
Okay.
rather than a mental health ward. You know, it really is a process to stabilize the inmates, give them the support they need. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's, when I mentioned that our jail is doing this to other counties and other commissioners, they're amazed because this is really cutting edge kind of stuff, that's not being done in most places.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 459 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Southeastern Security Professionals for intercom system for the mental health ward of the Sheriff's Office. This is in the amount of $141,595.38, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any comments or questions? Motion carries.
Item 460 is a requisition through the Transportation Department for Sunbelt Traffic for traffic signal maintenance. The amount is $45,000. It's additional funds needed to add to the purchase order, making the new purchase order total $115,000.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion. Have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 461 is a requisition through the Accountability Lab Services for Microgenics Corporation for the reagents and non-consumables for drug testing in an amount not to exceed $75,000.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion. Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 462 is an expenditure request through the General Services Department for Courtesy Ford. This is for accident repairs completed by a courtesy collision on AC-14, an animal control vehicle, in the amount of $27,680.38.
I move to approve this expenditure request as presented.
And I second it. And you probably have the same question I do.
I'm trying to figure out why insurance didn't cover this, or why we have to come out of pocket $27,000. Was that your question too?
You know, exactly my question.
Good morning, Madam Commissioners.
Good morning.
So this was, we have the deductible that we have to meet until, and once that's met, then the insurance will kick in.
So what
The-
is the deductible?
The deductible amount is $25,000 currently.
But this is
Okay.
more than 25,000.
Yes, so we will pay up to that amount. Actually, an independent appraiser came out and appraised it at $23,000 to repair it. When it was all said and done, it ended up being $27,000. So we will receive approximately $4,000 from the insurance company. So
Okay,
Okay.
so it's too bad we're almost near the end of the year. Have to start over again with a new deductible.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Item 460.
Motion carries.
Oh, sorry. Ahead of myself. Item 463 is an expenditure request to the Tax Commissioner's Office for Augusta Collection Agency for the payments covering June 2024 delinquent notice fees, the amount of $35,782.21.
I move to approve this expenditure request as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 464 is an expenditure request through Fire Rescue Department for NAFCO turnout gear for new firefighters for coats, pants, and boots. The amount is $40,141.
I move to approve this expenditure request as presented.
I second the motion. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye, but is this for the new recruits? Is somebody from fire here?
Oh.
Is it for the 30 new recruits that we
It's
have?
for the 13 that's
13.
already through EMT school and will come out, should be in December, they'll be out on shift.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 465 is a future land use case 2024-02, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County, Georgia's comprehensive plan as amended for property located at 1975 and 1985 Northwest Sigmund Road, 1980, 1736, 1670, 1726, and 1716 Northwest Lester Road, and 1634, 1632, and 1630 Northwest Farmer Road from the high-density residential future land use category to the technology park future land use category to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and to adopt this ordinance as presented.
I second that motion. I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
So, you know, this is another $1.2 billion of investment over the next 5 to 7 years in the county. And, you know, this is one of the ways that's going to bring down, it's going to be such a relief for the taxpayers of this county. Also, it's going to minimize the impact on the county on other services. So the Development Authority worked very, very hard to make sure that we brought this to fruition. Also, the developer is also working with us to make sure that we bring other things to this county that bridges the technology with the school system. And we have something that can feed our residents to these jobs once they're here. So I'm very, very proud of this project, and I can't wait to see the impact that it's going to have on the citizens. Not to mention, one of the things that's so attractive about a data center is that they use, they generate $5 million in sales tax. Well, they use $5 million worth of electricity per month, and we collect off the taxes off of that for the host, the E-Splosh, the Splosh, so we get 3% of $5 million per unit every month for the things that our citizens need. So I'm very excited about this project, and I'm ready to see all the great things that these projects are going to do for this county.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 466 is rezoning case 2024-07, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 1975 and 1985 Northwest Sigmund Road, 1980, 1736, 1670, 1726, and 1716 Northwest Lester Road, and 1634, 1632, and 1630 Northwest Farmer Road from R1 Single Family Residential to O&I Office Institutional, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and to adopt this ordinance as presented.
I second the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 467 is special use permit case 2024-02, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended to authorize a special use permit for a data center at 1975 and 1985 Northwest Sigmund Road, 1980, 1736, 1670, 1726, and 1716 Northwest Lester Road, and 1634, 1632, and 1630 Northwest Farmer Road to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and to adopt this ordinance as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 468 is future land use case 2024-04, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County, Georgia's comprehensive plan as amended for property located at 4105 Southwest East Fairview Road from the neighborhood commercial future land use category to the low density residential agricultural future land use category to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I'm sorry, I forgot which one this one was for.
This was the house.
The house.
The woman that owned the house of her
And
parents.
she wants to make it into
yes.
3?
She wanted to downgrade the
Downgrade,
zoning.
okay,
'cause-
I got it.
right,
Thank you.
yes, uh-huh.
I move to approve
Sorry.
the second reading and to
Yes.
adopt the ordinance as presented.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I just, in my conversation with Executive Director Rutledge this morning, it's not very common to
Right.
downgrade
Yeah. Well,
as a zoning or future land use or whatever we just did.
right, but it's going to help her on taxes a whole lot
Yeah,
to go from
yeah,
commercial to residential
that's correct.
agriculture.
Okay, let's go.
Got a motion and a second.
Oh, okay.
We need a vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
All right.
Motion carries.
Awesome. Okay, item 469 is rezoning case 2024-13, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 4105 Southwest East Fairview Road from C1 Local Commercial to AR Agriculture Residential to impose conditions upon the property to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and to adopt this ordinance as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 470 is rezoning case 2024-14, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 2332 Southwest Old Covington Highway from R1 Single Family Residential to M1 Limited Industrial to impose conditions upon the property to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and to adopt this ordinance as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 471 is rezoning case 2024-12, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 2037 Southeast Old Salem Road from AR Agricultural Residential to R1 Single Family Residential, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
This is the three houses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I move to approve the second reading and to adopt this ordinance as presented, but I wanted to make sure it does have all the special conditions that we talked about at the planning meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Was there anything specific that you wanted included on those conditions? But everything that the planning commission recommended is still presented to you at this time.
Right, no, I wanted to make sure that everything that the planning commissions,
Yes,
all
ma'am.
of the planning commission's concerns were addressed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's no second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'd like to restate a motion that we defer this, giving the developer time to speak with the homeowners association at Lambeth Way
Okay.
and alleviate their concerns and let them, come to some kind of agreement.
That's fine. I second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Item 472 is special use permit case 2024-03, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended, to authorize a special use permit for recreational vehicle RV park and campground at 3260 East Fairview Road Southwest, Conyers 30094, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to deny this ordinance as presented.
And I second that motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 473 is with public relations for Rockdale County policies. The first one is internal policy for governing Rockdale County social media. The second one is external social media policy for Rockdale County.
I move to defer these policies to the next regular scheduled DOC meeting.
I second that motion. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 474 is a volunteer appointment for the Conyers Rockdale Animal Board, Kevin Tapp. The appointment and term is September 2024 through July 2027.
I move to approve this appointment as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 475 is an expenditure request through the Tax Commissioner's Office for Rakami LLC for estimated first-class postage for property tax bills. The amount is $21,873.20, and this is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this expenditure as request as presented.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 476 is with Health Resources and Services Administration, HRSA, through the Board of Commissioners Office. This is to replace Derek Marchman as a program administrator and to add Mary Lou Snow as a program administrator in the HRSA system.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 477 is the adoption resolution for the Capital Improvements Element Annual Update for Rockdale County.
I move to approve this resolution, but I have a question.
Okay. I second the motion.
So I want to make sure that this capital improvements element, it has all of the elected officials, including the sheriff, the tax commissioner, and everybody else that puts their name on the ballot when we have the CID. The capital improvements. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just making sure, because I want to make sure that their needs are also prioritized in our capital improvements when we.
So this is actually for the impact fees,
Okay.
and it's
Yeah.
just for the certain categories. But as
Right.
far as the CIP, we're working on that
Okay.
separately with finance.
And I remember that now.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we are down to public comment. Do we have any public comment cards?
She left.
Yeah,
She's not here.
Oh, okay.
We did, but she left.
Okay. And, okay, all right. We're down to board comment.
My first board comment was congratulations to Bold Ministries. They had a gala this past weekend that was very well attended to assist people in need of nourishment. I wasn't able to attend, but from all of the feedback that I had, it was a great event, a spectacular fundraisers for those of us who need a little bit extra. Also, I had the pleasure of attending last night the Morehouse Glee Club and Spelman Glee Club, along with the Tabernacle Choir at the Morehouse International Chapel. And it was an amazing event with everything from hymns to Negro spirituals. And if you all ever get to participate in something like that, I would highly recommend that you do it. And it could be something for any organization that has a bonding activity, because it was so inspirational. And just to see the young people there with the age, another one of those intergenerational experiences, I highly recommend that you do it. It was something that I needed to uplift my spirit, and I felt as if everybody there spirit was uplifted just by the song and the spirit in which the songs were sang. So Dr. Williams was my hostess. So I greatly appreciate, and y'all, she knows everybody. Like she was introducing us to everybody. So thank you so much for that opportunity. And if anybody ever has that opportunity again to go to that, it was amazing. And that's all I have for right now.
And I might just add that the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square with the orchestra was there too last night, and Morehouse and Spelman Glee Clubs will be performing tomorrow night at the State Farm Arena. And so if anybody is interested, I can see if I can find some tickets for you. I'm sure there's some around. So just let me know and I'll see if I can do that for you. And the theme of their tour, they started in Florida and then they were here in Atlanta, and then they're going to either South Carolina or North Carolina, I can't remember. But the theme for this is hope. And, that's always a good theme, is hope. Last week, the accountability courts held a graduation. They had 11 graduates. I don't think I've ever been to one of their graduations with that many graduates. I've been to some where there's just one. But they combined all three accountability courts, the resource court, the drug court, and the DUI court. 11 graduates. And I think the most inspiring thing about that is to see, and as they make a comment or two after they receive their diploma, and by the way, they were all dressed in cap and gowns, and they gave them a stole to put on as they gave them their diploma. It was really awesome. But anyway, the thing that's so inspiring to me is their comments about how their lives are changing, and that they're reuniting with family and with children and with friends, not the same old friends, but good friends. And they're getting jobs, and it's just awesome. A couple of them said, that was really touching, said before they started DUI court, and they were not very old, but they said basically they spent their days drinking their life away. And they were sure without this accountability court that they would be dead by now. And so it's really, if you ever have an opportunity to go to one of those graduations, filled with the graduates, filled with their families and their friends, and all of the judges and all of the court staff that work with them, it's really an inspiring event that makes me think, oh, there are always things I can do better. And so that's that. The Bowl Ministries Gala, which I did have an opportunity to attend, was a phenomenal affair. It was well attended. There was the table that I was seated at was all Rockdale County people. And then I know there were other Rockdale County folks at other tables. But one summer, quite a few years ago, I volunteered with them 1 day a week, and I was impressed at the time. It's very well organized. It's very well funded because they have federal grants, they have state grants, they partner with the school district, they partner with RER so that they're not duplicating services, but they're making sure that they get food to our children during the summer and during the school year even, and on holidays. So it was a really nice event. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, that was what it was. I had made myself a note and I remembered it. I think those are all of my comments. Is there any need for an executive session today?
No, Madam Vice Chair.
I wanted to ask, I know we've gotten several emails asking to move the location of the planning commission meeting. Have we decided on
So
that?
the one for September has already been advertised, and once it's advertised, we can't move it, but we can have overflow in the auditorium, which
Okay.
we've done several times, where we'll have cases, people who need to hear their case will be in here, and we have overflow, so we'll have to handle it like that.
Okay. Can we, I know that we've already advertised it. Is there any way to get the word out that that's what we're doing?
Since I send probably the most emails in the entire county, yes, I will continue to send out emails and notify the applicants and the people who are adjoining property owners and anyone like that. We've also got it out on social media as well. But since we're talking about it, I just want to reiterate that all of the sound equipment is in here. And when we move to the auditorium, the streaming falls off, the sound system falls off, and not to be too obvious, but during a hearing, it is so important that we're able to hear what the applicants and the citizens and the board is saying and get that recorded and on the record and those kinds of things. Obviously, when we move, we won't have those challenges anymore, but right now, we're a little stuck with some legal issues and some logistic issues. So we're
I
getting
just
there.
wanted to address that because we've gotten a
Yes.
lot of it, and I
Yes.
just wanted to let everybody know that we have heard you. We just needed to make the accommodations this way. But it's going to be streamed over, everybody will be able to see what's going on.
You will be able to see it if you're not physically here.
Okay.
We've sent out links where if you go onto Facebook, there's 2 links that you can go onto. I'm the wrong person to be talking about this, however, I'm going to do it since I have the microphone. If you go on to Facebook, and they've got the 2 links there, or our website, and you can watch it.
Okay, thank you.
And my understanding is that anyone who's seated over there but wishes to make a comment still has that opportunity.
Absolutely. So we have staff running back and forth that are making sure that the most important thing about a public hearing is to make sure that you are heard.
Right.
And that is our number one priority. And so we do make sure it's a lot, but yes, we do.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to make sure everybody realizes that even though it's a full crowd in here and a full crowd over there, anyone who wants to speak will be able to do that.
I also want to add that even if you are not able to be physically present for, right now we're talking about zoning public hearings and things like that, you can always put your thoughts into writing, and we make that a part of the record. That is just as much a part of the record as if you approach that podium.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have no need for an executive session today. Anything else?
No,
All right, this meeting is adjourned.
thank you.